organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up tonight on Daily Iowan TV, while many students spend their spring breaks basking in the warm sun on beaches, we take a look at students who chose to give back to different communities across the country.
Sunday was a historic day for the United States. We'll tell you why coming up.
And in weather today marks the first day of spring. We'll talk about what that means in this week's forecast coming up. I'm Bradley Martin, and stay tuned for my forecast in the weather studio.
3 Iowa sports were on the verge of a national title over spring break, but unfortunately fell short in different ways.
We have the latest on women's and men's basketball, plus wrestling, and many more sports coming up.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Nikki Crossway.
And I'm Keaton Fuller. History was made Sunday when President Obama landed in Cuba. It was the first time in 88 years that a U.S. president visited the country. The visit is intended to continue the relationship the president has been working on to build after decades of estrangement that started during the Cold War. Critics of the Obama administration have said that they feel the visit is premature. Others, however, feel that it's a step in the right direction towards bridging the divide between the two nations.
Some students in Iowa faced high levels of lead in their drinking water a few years ago. USA Today and Des Moines Register investigations found drinking water in one Iowa school district exceeded the Environmental Protection Agency's limits for lead. Drinking water in the Wapsie Valley Community School District had lead levels 67% higher than the federal agency's limit in 2013. The lead problem was caused by treating water with chlorine, which over time can corrode water pipes. Health concerns related to lead can cause developmental issues, slowed muscle and bone growth, speech, language disabilities, and nervous system damage. Once the issue was discovered in 2013, the school district started working with the Iowa Department of Natural Resources to find a new water treatment plan with a phosphate blend instead of chlorine.
The University of Iowa student government elections are kicking off. Some will be celebrating as campaign season begins at the Mill restaurant. UISG will reveal their platform and party name at the event Sunday night. The platform will show students the goals and plans the party has for the next year. You can vote for candidates between March 30th at 8 a.m. to the 31st at 5 p.m.
With the help of a famous Cedar Rapids native, Iowa schools will be having their best school day. That 70s show and a 2.5 Men star Ashton Kutcher made a generous donation that will fund projects in 132 schools across the state of Iowa. The donation will fund arts and science projects such as drums for classrooms in Coralville and books for a literature group at Lone Tree Community School. The projects are funded via DonorsChoose.org, a website that just launched a Best School Day initiative to fund projects for all schools all across the U.S.
Not every student spent spring break on the beach. At least 120 University of Iowa students did something different: community service. Through a program called Alternative Spring Break, students traveled to 8 different cities across the United States. 8 groups of 15 students made a difference in communities in Indianapolis, Atlanta, Memphis, Detroit, St. Louis, Denver, Dallas, and Houston. Students packaged meals, planted trees, and did various acts of community service.
You are choosing to really dedicate your week, your break, to bettering a community that you're going to. And we really focus on that we're not taking service to them and doing service for a community, but we're really fueling the missions that are already happening within the communities.
Well, Keaton, coming back from my trip from Cabo, it was surprised to see snow.
Yeah, I dealt with the same thing on a 4-hour drive back from Minnesota yesterday, and it made the drive a little rough. But let's throw it over to Bradley Martin in the weather studio to find out more. Brad?
Thanks, Keaton, and happy first day of spring to all of our viewers at home. Although it may seem like spring, temperatures are going to be unpredictable this week. We can expect to see temperatures ranging from 36 to 65 throughout. Let's take a look into Monday to start. Monday morning we see 35 degrees. moving to 51 in the afternoon and back down to 45 in the evening. Taking a look into our extended forecast, we can expect a high of 65 on Tuesday and a low of 46. Tuesday is looking to be partly cloudy. Wednesday highs up to 47 and lows down to 32 and a 90% chance of rain. Now we see those warmer temperatures for the first half of the week, but Thursday we could expect snow. Thursday's high is 36 and lows at the bone-chilling 21 mark. 70% chance of precipitation there, which of course if it stays below that freezing point will turn to snow. Friday creeps its way back up to 44 with a low of 31. Clear skies there, so some of that snow may start to melt. And of course Saturday with a high of 53 and a low of 36. That's all I have for you in the weather studio. My name is Bradley Martin. Back to you guys at the desk.
Belgium authorities made a big arrest while the UI was on spring break. Salah Abdeslam, a suspect in the Paris attacks, was taken into custody. But now authorities are saying that Abdeslam was in the middle of planning a new attack and had access to new weapons. Salah Abdeslam was arrested on Friday during a police raid in Brussels and charged Saturday with terrorist murder. Abdeslam is only one of 30 suspects arrested in relation to the attacks, and Brussels security experts say they are still searching for others. Officials say he is cooperating and communicating and will be in court on Wednesday.
The trial date is set for the Iowa City man accused of calling in a fake bomb threat to a local high school in January, a distraction so he could allegedly rob a bank. A phone found in Brinkmeyer's car is tied to the call emergency dispatchers received January 19th about an explosive at West High School. Clifton Brinkmeyer's trial is set for June 21st, 2016, after pleading not guilty to charges of terrorism and second-degree robbery on March 9th.
After 20 years of waiting, the trial date has been set for the 1995 death of an Iowa City woman. Stephen John Klein of Mount Vernon will face trial on July 25, 2016 for the 1995 death of Susan Kirsten. Klein was arrested in July 2015 in Muscatine in relation to the death of Kirsten. The victim's body was found in 1995 in her burned-out car near Iowa City. The trial is expected to last 10 to 15 days.
The abnormal mild weather conditions are giving people in the Midwest an early tease of spring. Dylan Anderson has a look at how some students are reaping the benefits.
The unusually warm winter is making an impact on environments all over the Midwest. Here in Iowa City, the Iowa River has been thawed for the majority of the winter, with temperatures ranging from the 40s to the 60s, making their way to the Hawkeye State over the past few months. Researchers at the Iowa Flood Center say that the levels of the Iowa River have been significantly higher on average than recent years, and going all the way back to the 1980s.
The past winter, the November and December 2015 water levels have been historically high, I would say everywhere across Iowa, but more generally across the central United States. If you look back over the past few years, the Iowa River has been roughly 5 to 10 times higher than the previous few years.
A specific group of people who are pleased with the river levels and the unusually warm conditions is the University of Iowa women's rowing team. Instead of being bound to their workouts inside the Pea Soup Beckwith Boathouse located near Mayflower Hall, the team has been able to do more practice outside on the river and give valuable repetitions to better prepare them for their spring schedule. The rowing team had 2 exhibitions on February 19th against Old Dominion and February 21st against Texas, and they put on an excellent showing, but they are not satisfied. The team says that the extra practice outside has not only helped them prepare for those showcases, but it also gives them the chance to come together as a unit and perform to the best of their ability.
It's helped us tremendously. Getting on the water will make you faster as a crew. There's only so much you can do on the erg. The erg is a great fitness tool, but just being out on the water is really where teams find their speed, and here in Iowa we found our speed.
Bianca and the rest of the Iowa rowing team will open their regular season on April 2nd with a Big Ten ACC double duel in Bloomington, Indiana against Notre Dame and Louisville, before their only home meet of the season a week later against Big Ten foes Minnesota and Wisconsin. Dylan Anderson, Daily Iowan TV.
Well, unfortunately, it was a rough weekend in New York for Hawkeye sports. Both the wrestling team and the basketball team had losses.
It was definitely a tough loss for the Hawkeyes, but let's throw it over to the sports studio to find out more. Guys?
Thanks, Nikki and Keaton. Very disappointing and sad endings for all three of those winter sports.
They all had the edge going into spring break, but unfortunately it was just a little too late for most of them.
We head to Brooklyn, New York first for some Iowa men's hoops in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Iowa's first matchup was getting through Temple on Friday.
After a wild overtime and an Adam Woodbury tip-in to send Iowa past Temple 72-70, Iowa barely survived and advanced to Sunday.
Villanova wasted no time against the Hawkeyes, as Villanova went into halftime up by 25.
Villanova's surge didn't stop in the second half, as Iowa had no chance against Nova's starting five, as each of them scored in double digits but one.
The Hawkeyes were led by senior Jared Utoff and redshirt freshman Nicholas Baer, as Iowa ends their season 22-11 on the year.
Alyssa, it was a great season, but a tough way to end.
I agree, Ashlyn, especially for the four starting seniors, Adam Woodbury, Mike Gazelle, Anthony Clemens, and Jared Utoff.
Gazelle did the honor of addressing the media post-game and said, "I'm very proud of my guys, the way we handled ourselves this season. We kept plugging along and getting better every day. This is a huge accomplishment because every team in this tournament is a very good team."
Iowa returns one starter, Peter Jock, and a handful of underclassmen that got plenty of experience this season.
Just across the river in New York at Madison Square Garden, the Iowa wrestling team sent 3 individuals to the finals on Saturday in the NCAA championships.
Thomas Gilman, Brandon Sorensen, and Corey Clark all went into the final day hoping to be the last one standing in their weight class.
For all 3 of them, though, they were given the silver medal and sent home in disappointment.
It's not a fun place to be right now. It's not where I want to be. It's not my goals. And stepping on that award stand, hearing that final cheer for first place, that stings.
I don't know if it stings more than match to match. I mean, we take this stuff personal, where it's one of these things where, I'm not more miserable because we were 0-3. I'm miserable for Gilman and Clark and Sorensen and, 9 other qualifiers that didn't probably perform the way they wanted to.
The Hawkeyes return 5 All-Americans next season, Sorensen, Clark, and Gilman, as well as first-time All-Americans Alex Meyer and Sammy Brooks.
We head back to the Midwest and right inside Carver Hawkeye Arena, where the Iowa women's basketball team's season ended last week after they were unable to keep up with Ball State in the first round of the WNIT. After a strong push in the final quarter, the Hawks shifted momentum in their favor, but it was not enough as they lost 77-75.
Iowa finished their season with a 19-14 overall record. With a young starting lineup, the Hawks are looking forward to bringing some more experience to the court next season. Team captain Allie Distroff is ready to rally the team, stating, "There is no reason why we can't work this offseason, bond with the incoming freshmen, and become one of the top teams in the Big Ten next season."
This was definitely a building year for this young Iowa team, and there's no doubt that this season's experience will filter right into next year.
But it wasn't all L's for the Hawkeyes this past week. The Iowa track and field team headed to Arizona on Saturday to not only set a school record, but also bring home 3 event titles. The women's 400-meter relay team of Lake Quazza, Alexis Guster, Brianna Guillory, and Alexis Hernandez beat the previous school record of 44.51 with the winning time of 44.04. Madison Rowe took home the win with her collegiate best performance in the women's high jump, moving to 6th place on the Iowa's all-time list. Following a personal best of 1 minute and 49 seconds, Carter Lilly won the men's 800 meters, climbing to 6th in school history.
The Baldwin Castillo Invitational at Arizona State University proved to be a great warm-up for the Hawks before splitting competitors for the Florida Relays in Gainesville and the Stanford Invitational in Palo Alto, California at the beginning of April.
A lot of spring season left, not only for track and field, but also baseball and softball, which they both start Big Ten play this week. Keaton and Nikki, back to you guys at the desk.
All right, that's all we have time for you tonight on Daily Iowan TV.
Be sure to check out our website, dailyiowan.com, for all the latest news for Daily Iowan TV. I'm Nikki Crosswave.
And I'm Keaton Fuller. Have a good night.